Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to May Day today, 1st of May 2024. A fairly rough day on the markets. However, the main indices in Australia are down by just less than 1% after being down by about 1.4% on open. A pretty nasty day if you're completely in mining. Resources down 1.71%, even small caps down 1.4%. However, I had a look at my portfolio, and quite a few of my small caps actually doing okay today. And all those companies doing okay are profitable companies in the right space. So we're talking about Metal Rock, Southern Cross Electrical Engineering, Mayfield Group, quite a few of those companies, Adrad, quite a few of those companies actually up today. So I'm quite happy with the performance of those companies. But overall, my portfolio is down, and I'd say more than likely everyone's portfolio is down unless their portfolio consists of only one company or maybe two companies, and both those companies or only that company is up. So we go through the ASX today later in the video. Also do have a top 5 announcements. Also got some honorable mentions. So I'll talk about that in a second. Also talk about why the market was down big in America overnight, just based off one little tweet and some rumblings I did here on Twitter. And probably that's all I'm going to, and I'll have a look at some charts. Also discuss a bit of activity, a bit of selling I have done over the past few days, including step one. I haven't completely sold out of that company, but I did take profits. And that really that decision was made for me yesterday, not today. Also took profits in another company. I'll talk about that in a second. Now, before we have a look at the ASX today, because it's a little bit relevant, because the reason we're down quite big is because United States was down, NASDAQ down 1.92%. And if you have a look at this, say, we'll have a look at the 5-minute chart. Gee, a fair bit of selling the last 10 minutes, wasn't there? Look at that. It was down today, but yeah, down 0.5% with 10 minutes to go. And then last 5 minutes down 0.33%. I actually did see a tweet today that the maybe not the vast majority, but the majority of trading in America happens in the last 30 minutes or something like that, which is interesting. There is that saying that amateurs open the market and professionals close it. Does that mean there are a lot of professionals out there? I think that's a pretty condescending saying, by the way. Anyway, so NASDAQ down 1.92%, Dow Jones down 1.5%, S&P 500 down 1.57%, Russell 2000 down 2.1%. So pretty bad day on the markets. And I was trying to understand why, and it didn't take me long to see some interesting tweets. Here's one from the KBS letter, which I have actually showcased quite a few times. And Janet Yellen actually had a speech. And quite a few people were, I won't say complaining about her speech, but just pointing out how out of touch with reality she is. And she did mention a few interesting things in this speech. Now, one of the things she did say was people are generally better off despite recent price increases. I actually replied. They did have a little bit of a survey here. 18.5% said yes. 81.5% said no. I said no, just because I want to be in that crowd. But to be honest with you, I'm better off now than I was 5 years ago, just because I've gone from full-time to part-time. And because of my investing, I'm much better off right now. So it was a really interesting speech. She said some things. So let's do it. Janet Yellen. She said some things she was sort of hinting. See if I can find saying some good things about the Biden administration. That's okay. No, that's not a nice comment from RJR Capital. I'm trying to find some interesting things she said, talking about how incompetent she is. This is it. So financial juice. This is what she said. I am concerned about where we're going with the US deficit, and it seems just that sort of comment caused a little bit of a sell-off in the United States. And there is concerns about inflation. And tonight we do get some interesting news releases, I believe. I believe we do. Let's just zoom in a little bit. I like this on TradingView. You can see what's being released tonight. So 2nd of May, which is tomorrow morning our time. Yeah, tomorrow. This is local time. So 4:30 a.m. there's a Fed press conference. At 4 a.m. local time, the Fed interest rate decision, and they are forecasting no change. We also have a jobs opening and ISM manufacturing PMI. That's tomorrow. And then the next few days, we have the unemployment rate being released at 10:30 p.m. on the 3rd of May. We also have non-farm payrolls, which is quite important, and ISM services PMI. So an interesting week, and we knew this heading into it, that this week was going to be interesting. Now, the NASDAQ itself doesn't look extremely bullish, but there was a little rally, and potentially that rally has come to an end, which means maybe we have seen a lower high. So this could be the start of a downtrend, but we need to see a lower low before I even start thinking about that. So the NASDAQ has to get to below 17,000. Right now it's 17,440. And I did have a look at the futures earlier, and a lot of companies were down, which is hinting that the futures or the American market or the NASDAQ will open down tonight. Now, it is very important. We are in reporting season over there, and quite a few companies have reported the last 24 hours. And I will actually touch upon some of these companies. So that's why we are probably down today, but nowhere near as much as we could have been. On open, we were down about 1.4%, if I remember correctly. In fact, let's have a look at the XGO right now. So let's have a look at the 1 minute chart just to see. I can't look at the 1 second chart. You have to pay extra. Yeah, so the low of the day was at 10:11 a.m. and we've actually recovered quite nicely today. So at the low of the day, we were down at 7,556, 7,556.5. Now it's 7,592. So we've had a nice recovery today. So maybe the American futures aren't down as much as I thought they might have been. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through, before we have a look at the ASX today. Actually, no, we'll do that. And then I'll just mention, or maybe I won't mention, I'll have it as a surprise, the top 5 companies of the day, top 5 announcements of the day. And also I'll go through some of the honorable mentions as well. And my plan for the rest of the week. Now we're over Appendix 4Cs and 5Bs, a little bit more time on my hands right now. And I do have a few videos on my pipe list. So I'm going to go through or have a video of the top 10 Appendix 4Cs and 5Bs of the quarter. Now, this is out of pool of about 50 companies. I've already chosen 4 companies to be in this list. So I got to choose another 6. And I think one of the reasons, or one of the ways I'm going to choose these top 10 companies is by price performance and whether I like the Appendix 4C or not. But a lot of these decisions will be driven by the market. One of these companies, no. One of these companies, I actually really liked it, and the market hasn't really reacted to it. And there is potential I might take a position in this company, but you have to wait out for that video. So look out for that video probably within the next week. And I will be doing 2 standalone videos on Mayfield Group, which is a company I've just taken position in because someone, a viewer of this channel, sort of mentioned this company in one of my videos or the comment section. I had a quick look at it, and just based off one simple comment that the company put into their financial statements, I took a position. Just one comment is all I needed. And I did notice that there was another viewer who asked me to do a standalone video on Big River Industries, and I thought, why not? I have never looked at that company before, so why not do a standalone video on that company? I'm not sure when I'll do a video on those 2 companies, but within the next week or 2. Okay, so before we get to the top announcements of the day, and I'll just briefly talk about some selling I have done today, and then we might have a look at some charts. Let's have a look at the ASX today. Okay, so we are down. We're all down. And a pretty bad day on or in the mining sector. So let's have a look at the different sectors and indices. So every single sector is down. I thought staples might not be down, a little bit more defensive there, but everything's down today. The best performing sector is utilities, only down 0.44%. Worst performing sector is energy, down 1.76%. So we're talking about uranium. I thought uranium might be up today. I could be mistaken. Do they have companies here? They do. Okay, so yeah, some companies down a fair bit. And yeah, there's a few uranium companies up. So even though uranium is or has had a good day, energy has had overall has had a bad day. In fact, most of these companies in the top, say, 10 or so in energy are uranium companies. Bannerman Energy, Elevate Energy, No idea about Top End and X-State. Paladin, definitely. DPLO, definitely. Peninsula, definitely. Boss, definitely. I'm pretty sure Alligator Energy is also in uranium. Calamar is not, though. High Peak is not. That's royalties. Calamar, I'm pretty sure, is gas or oil. Strike Energy. Berkeley is definitely uranium. And we have Noble Helium. I wonder if they do helium. Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent at the moment. And indice-wise, the best performing indice is the ASX 200 banks. So banks have done a good job today. And so hopefully you've had some banks, although maybe in the long term, having banks is not the best idea. And even the ASX 20 is down 0.67%. Gold has had an absolutely disgusting day, but I knew that was going to happen just by looking at gold prices, down 3.7%. Small orders down 1.4%. I'm going to see if there's any indice that is up. I doubt it. Yeah, banks has been the best performing emerging companies. What is the definition of emerging companies? Hopefully they have some companies in this list. No, they don't. So let's have a look at the ASX 20. Just see which of the big companies have performed best today. Is any company up? Two companies are up in the ASX 20, and those two companies are Transurban, which is infrastructure, and NAB, up slightly. And the worst performing company in the ASX 20, no surprise, WiseTech down 3.43%. And maybe iron ore has had a bad day too, because Fortescue is down 2.7%. And some of the other tech companies down, REA Group down 1.3%, but not that big. And we also have BHP there, down 0.9%. And ANZ, for some reason, the market doesn't like that. They prefer NAB today. Anyway, so that's all we have when it comes to ASX today. But let's have a look. Before we have a look at the top announcements of the day, let's have a look at the top gainers and top losers, just to see if there's any interesting companies on this list. For some reason, people are buying Rectified Technologies today. So I do own a small parcel in that company. I'm not really following that company right now, but up 44.4% on a fairly low turnover. So I'm not really interested in that announcement unless they did release something that I've missed, which is possible. No, they haven't. So it's just a low turnover, just some silly shenanigans going on with that company. Otherwise, nothing much here. Numi did release an interesting Appendix 4C, so up 21.74%. They used to be called Freedom Foods, I believe. Freedom Foods, and then something bad happened with Freedom Foods and they changed the name. In fact, in Market Index, on the tab up here, it says Freedom Foods Group. There you go. Yeah, formerly Freedom Foods Group. They did release their Appendix 4C, and that was before open. So not sure why the market is reacting to that today. It did look positive. I thought it was good. Gnosis is on this list again after having a good day yesterday after releasing the Appendix 4C. They're on the list again. So just based off how this company has performed in the last 2 days, and I thought their Appendix 4C was okay, there is a good chance that company will be in the top 10 Appendix 4Cs for the quarter, just based off the market reaction. Zoom 2 is another small cap company, but low turnover. And I suppose Gnosis does have a low turnover. So let's have a look at by market cap. Top gainers today, uranium, Paladin, Boss Energy, DPLO, even Silex Systems, which is not a uranium mining company, but has something to do with uranium, I believe. Mesoblast is on there again, so a lot of day traders in Mesoblast. WA1 Resources, Clarity there again. They had a good announcement yesterday, and that positiveness has continued in today. But a lot of these companies are uranium. There's Experience Co. Did release an interesting announcement a few days ago in relation to a strategic review because they believe the company is undervalued. Do a share buyback if you think that. You don't need a strategic review to understand that. Okay, so top gainers, a lot of uranium companies, and I have a feeling when we look at the top losers, the majority of the top losers by market cap will be gold companies. But let's have a look top losers by percentage change. Small companies within this top, apart from Gallon Lithium, turnover 1.9 million, down 16.7%. What's happening with Gallon Lithium? Anything today? No, they just replaced. Oh, they did release their core activities and cash flow report after trading had finished yesterday. So maybe that wasn't in my honorable mentions or my top 5 list. So that could be an interesting company to look at. I have never heard of this company before. I can be completely honest with you. But it's lithium. At this point in time, I don't really care about lithium exploring companies if it is an exploring company. But something has caused a little bit of concern in the market when it comes to Gallon lithium. Otherwise, small turnover among the worst performing companies, and nothing else there that has piqued my interest. There's Lithium Universe. So I'm pretty sure we have probably Lithium World, Lithium Earth, Lithium Galaxy, and now we've got Lithium Universe. And their agenda or their goal is to mine the universe for lithium. They have to think of a way to travel faster than the speed of light eventually. And by market cap, I said we're going to see mostly gold companies. Well, Emerald Resources gold. I thought Coronado is coal. Could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's coal. Yep, coal. Serco had a good day yesterday, down today. Electro-Optics down a bit, so yeah, I'm not concerned. I do own a small percentage of shares in that company. I'm very excited to see step one in the worst performing companies today. That means my decision was pretty good. So on open this morning, I sold out of step one because it fell below my sell point. And I thought that was a fairly negative day yesterday when the overall market had a good day. Step one had a negative day. Sold on open at $1.55. Not completely. I maintained a small position, but I'm very happy that it's down 11.7% because that really justifies my decision. And otherwise, I thought there'll be way more gold companies here. Way more gold companies, but maybe gold's had a bit of a rebound. Maybe gold's had a little bit of rebound. A few gold companies, but not as many as I thought. I thought they'd be like some of the bigger gold companies on here, but maybe they didn't quite make it because percentages. In fact, what we could do is just have a look, go back, have a look at the gold sector, the ores, and hopefully they've got all the companies in this list. No, they don't. That's disappointing. All right, and well, that's all I want to look at. 52 weeks highs. Is any companies at 52 weeks high? We're Rincon Resources, yeah. There's Metal Rock. This by market cap. We have NAB. Oh no, these aren't the real NABs. Redox, which is a recent listing on the ASX, and I should do a video on that company. RDX. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to do a video on RDX. I like to do a video on any recent IPO there where the share price looks or the chart looks pretty interesting or good, and the company is profitable. So Redox should be on my list, and yeah. Otherwise, nothing there. Okay, so let's get into the top announcements of the day. But first, make sure this is, yep, the market is now down by more than 1%, a little bit of weakness. So first, let's have a look at the honorable mentions. Quite a few companies to get through. However, I have bunched about 7 companies into the one group, and this is companies listed on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ that did report in the last 24 hours, and we have seen some interesting price action, or we will see some interesting price action overnight. Now, the first honorable mention I'm going to talk about briefly is Restaurant Brands New Zealand. Okay, so they did give their quarterly update. You notice no shares traded today. In fact, if you look at the trade history, some shares were traded on the 26th of April, but before that was the 16th of April. So this is a highly illiquid company. Now, in saying all that, if we go to the earnings calendar on NASDAQ, you'll probably see Restaurant Brands. Here it is. Their ticker code on the American exchange is QSR, Restaurant Brands International, market cap of $23 billion. So this company owns restaurants in New Zealand, Australia, California for some reason, and Hawaii for some reason. The restaurants they own include Pizza Hut, KFC, Carl's Jr., and Taco Bell. Had a quick look at one of their, I think it was their annual report, and they do have some Taco Bells in some country areas in New South Wales. I think they did have one in Tamworth that's now been converted to a KFC, and like other places like Cessnock and Dubbo. I think I just made Dubbo up, but they did release their first quarter sales. So fairly similar store to, or similar company to Collins Food. how this company is much more illiquid on the ASX. Maybe on the New Zealand Stock Exchange, it's not. So total sales up 7.9%. They also go through the different geographic locations, which I'd really like to see. So they break it down to New Zealand, Australia, Hawaii, and California. Percentage change in New Zealand, really good performance in New Zealand, up 15.2%. Flat in Australia at 0.3%. Up in Hawaii by 8.5%. If I remember correctly, Taco Bell was doing really well in Hawaii, and flat in California. So that's total store sales, same store sales, because I have opened a few stores up. Down actually in Australia by 2.7%. Why is there a change here? There's a change here and then a change here. There's all changes here. Anyway, so the main thing here is, did they say anything in commentary? I can't remember. Oh yeah, strong sales growth in New Zealand, Hawaii markets offset slowing sales growth in Australia and negative sales growth in Hawaii or California. Cost of living pressures driven by inflation and elevated interest rates continue to impact consumer spending in all of our markets, even though some of the markets are performing really well. Oh, here they go, Hawaii. Hawaii trading remains solid, particularly in Taco Bell. So they love their Taco Bell in Hawaii. Otherwise, that's the only. Oh, they mentioned Pizza Huts in New Zealand. 122 Pizza Huts in New Zealand run by independent franchisees. Anyway, so I've spent a little bit too much time on restaurant brands, but this company almost made it into my top 5, and I thought it'd be interesting to look at a company that I've never had a look at before, and I don't think many of you would have had a look at this company before because it's illiquidly traded. Now, this company does have a market cap of 377 million. I thought it was going to be a little bit more than that. P ratio of 9.8. So some possible value with this company. Possible. And they are geographically diverse as well. Probably way more geographically diverse than Collins Food Group. I could be mistaken with that. Okay, coming in at number 2. No, because I'm doing honorable mentions. There's no numbers here. I'll talk about the American companies last. Now we've got Boom Logistics. Bowl, share price unchanged. They did release a contract, announcement about a contract, $60 million contract with Newmont Mining. Now, I should actually look at Restaurant Brands chart, which I don't think is really needed because the chart in Australia looks pretty bad because you can't really see anything. Oh, this is the 1 hourly chart, that's why. So the daily chart looks illiquidly traded. Share price as high as $12.50 back in 2022. So share price has fallen a fair bit. But if we look at the New Zealand chart, maybe this is a little bit different. Yeah, this is much more liquidly traded. Look at the share price in a long-term downtrend. Wow. So maybe there is value with this company. I don't know. P ratio, it says P ratio 26 here, but somewhere else it said it's 9. Was that Comsec said it's 9? Okay. Okay, so that's Restaurant Brands. And now back to Boom Logistics. Talking about their contract, $60 million contract with Newmont Mining. I'm not the biggest fan of contract announcements. I don't really react to contract announcements at all. But they did mention something here. Boom Logistics are continuing to see a strong operating environment across our core markets and remain actively engaged in discussions for further work with a range of counterparties. The positive operating outlook and a continued execution against a strategic roadmap provides continued confidence in achieving our financial year 24 guidance of an NPAT or profit in excess of $6 million and delivering enhanced returns for our shareholders. So I do like that sort of commentary, but let's have a look at the chart for Boom Logistics. Does the market believe it? Is there any sort of uptrend developing in Boom Logistics? And possibly. I think this downtrend, he's coming to an end, but the market just doesn't, I don't know, the market just doesn't like this company. And if you look at the weekly chart, you can probably understand why. This company's really done nothing over the past 12 or so years. In fact, this goes back 13 years. Boom Logistics has done absolutely nothing. Market cap is 59, almost 60 million. So if they do achieve their profit of $6 million, this company will be trading on a market cap or a P ratio of about 10. Yes, only 10. So that's Boom Logistics. Honorable mention, did not quite make it into my top 5. And to be honest with you, there weren't many companies that could have made it. Now, a company I did mention during my video yesterday, I think, Vection Technologies, share price has not moved today. This company has a chance to make it into my top 10 simply because of their Appendix 4C and not really because of the market reaction, just because I really like the potential of this company. Defense contract award. So this in itself is interesting now for a number of reasons. Now, I don't mind these sort of contracts, but defense, if they do get a contract with the defense, I don't know who it's with, if it's a government defense, for national security intelligence, I don't know. They don't really mention here. It can be sticky, but I think this is more of developing a relationship with whoever this is, because they do mention down here, while positive earnings are expected from this contract, they will likely be immaterial to earnings per share in financial year 24. And then they say, Vection anticipates this ongoing partnership will yield valuable and continuous work with the customer, signaling sustained and expanding collaborations. That's the only reason I might even be interested in this announcement, is just the potential of these partnerships and the stickiness that these partnerships could develop. That's the reason I might like this particular announcement. Now, I did definitely like their Appendix 4C way more than this announcement, and it's not surprised to see the market hasn't reacted all that well. And the share price rose 8% on the release of their Appendix 4C, and then dropped straight back down. And the reason behind that is simply the chart. So their Appendix 4C was quite impressive, but I just don't think the market trusts management in this company just yet. Because the share price has been in a long-term downtrend for a long time, and we really need to see the sentiment in this company to change. It just hasn't changed. And even though the Appendix 4C was good, it wasn't enough to change the sentiment and the opinions of the market just yet. I think they have to release at least one, maybe even two really good Appendix 4Cs to really shift sentiment in this company. So I definitely will put, I haven't done it yet, I'm going to put Vection Technologies onto one of my watch lists that I pay attention to way more frequently than otherwise. Another thing I'm going to look for is some increasing volume would get me more intrigued in this company if I saw volume increasing. Okay, so honorable mention when it comes to Vection Technologies. Two other companies, sort of in the same area, MoneyMe, up 1.45%, and Harmoney, how they spelled Harmony, up 2.38%. Both of these companies released some sort of trading update. And just based off the market reaction, it seems like these trading updates were okay, yeah. So they're in the same space, sort of a lender. I have a feeling primarily to SMEs, more medium enterprises. I could be a little bit mistaken. So Harmoney says they are consumer direct personal lender operating across Australia and New Zealand. So they're personal lenders, but I'm pretty sure MoneyMe is more directed to SMEs, founder-led digital lender. I could be completely mistaken again. Could be personal lending. We target customers. So it looks like both of these companies are targeting personal lenders, and they both released a trading update on the same day, and the market has been a little bit positive in the overall market. So go through both of these announcements. If you think there is potential, this sector is way oversold, and there might be some value. Now, I did have a look at the market cap of both these companies, and they are fairly low. Like MoneyMe was 55 million. I'm pretty sure Harmoney is like 40 million, and it seems like both companies are profitable. So next thing I look at then is the chart. So let's start with MoneyMe. Is the chart showing me anything? The first thing I notice, and I have traded MoneyMe in the past, but I have taken profits, a very small profit. So I bought some at 7 cents, and then I sold when the share price got above 8 cents. So a very small profit taken there. I think I might be owning a small portion of this remaining. I think I am. I do have a very small portion. I didn't completely take profits. Now, one of the reasons of why I did that is I do think the bottom has been reached, and the share price is just consolidating right now. And I like it when it consolidates for a longer period of time, because the longer it consolidates, the better the ride is going to be when it breaks out. If it breaks out, that's the most important thing. Massive volume coming in today, huge volume coming in. This could be just a cross trade. Let's have a look. Course of sales. Yeah, so at 8:26 a.m., 61 million shares were traded. at a price of $4.3 million. So that's why we've had a volume spike in MoneyMe. I just wish these one-offs were taken out of the volume because it does sort of distort the volume. So that's MoneyMe. Another company I'm paying close attention to. Another reason why I kept a small portion of money in this company is just so I pay close attention to it. And I do find that works for me. And I've heard other people do exactly the same thing. They have a small portion in the company just because you tend to know a little bit more about that company over time because you have a little bit invested in that company. Now, onto Harmoney. I don't know as much about this company, but let's have a look at the chart. And this is sort of showing the same signs. In fact, this chart looks a little bit better just because the longer term moving average channel has a little bit more to fall in MoneyMe. But Harmoney, share price going sideways. We've seen the two moving average bands come together. That is another sign of consolidation period. So if you looked at the Bollinger Bands would be quite narrow right now. And when Bollinger Bands are quite narrow or narrowing, that's a sign of decreased volatility. And that's a good sign moving forward because when that volatility breaks out, because usually low volatility doesn't stay in place for a long period of time. When I say long period of time, it's talking about years here. And when you do get a break from that low volatility, the upside can be quite good, quite extreme. Also, there could be downside as well. So another company maybe to put on your watch list. I do have this in my IPO. That's probably one of the reasons why I haven't looked at it. When did this company IPO? So late 2020. So it's been my IPO watch list for a long time, and I never had a look at it. And that's probably the reason why share price has fallen from 3.50 down to 43 cents. Okay, and I think that's all I've got in regards to companies that did not quite make it into, or ASX companies that did not quite make it into my top 5. So let's have a look at these American companies. So I've got 7 here. PayPal, Starbucks, Amazon, AMD, Eli Lilly, 3M, and SMCI. PayPal has had a good results. And I am a shareholder of this company. I should actually mention PayPal. I should mention which of these companies I own. So I own PayPal and Amazon. That's it. So PayPal chart looks really good. So share price up yesterday on the results. And now there was a little bit of selling during the day, which is understandable. And I have a feeling the futures were up. We can actually see if the futures are up. So this is the earning calendar in NASDAQ. So we have seen Amazon, Eli Lilly, Coca-Cola, AMD, McDonald's released results today, Starbucks as well. But if we go back to yesterday, no, it's actually today, because PayPal released their results before trading began. A lot of these other companies released their results after trading. It's really interesting. And let's go back to yesterday. So PayPal, so in TradingView, you can see after hours or pre-market, but in NASDAQ, they have a real-time after hours and pre-market. So PayPal was up 1.39%. In after hours trading, it is up 1%. We're probably not in pre-market just yet. I'm assuming not quite yet. And so the market liked PayPal. And the P/E ratio of this company is like 10 or 11, something ridiculously. And they grew, if I remember correctly, and I haven't had a close look, they grew revenue by 9% and earnings per share by 27%. They do have a new CEO. He's been in for about 9 months, maybe a little bit more than 9 months. And the really interesting thing about PayPal, it's sort of in between the growth and value. So growth investors are ignoring PayPal. Value investors are ignoring PayPal. So it's in that sweet zone where no one's really paying attention. Now, in saying that, I did listen to a few podcasts, and a lot of these podcasters said they actually do own PayPal. And the other thing, really interesting thing about PayPal is the chart. It is turning around. So a long-term downtrend, and when I say long-term, I'm talking about long-term. There's me buying that position in PayPal 2 years ago, and I'm thinking of adding to my position because I think it is breaking out or is trying to break out. The only thing that might hurt PayPal is just overall negative sentiment in the market. Next company I want to look at was Starbucks. So the only reason I want to talk about Starbucks is they released their results after trading had finished for the day. Share price up 0.2% today. So there was no loose lips here, but look at after hours trading for Starbucks. So I haven't even had a look at their results, but down 11.5%. So the very fact that after hours trading, share price is down 11.5%, the results missed expectations, or the market didn't like the results, or the market didn't like the forward, any sort of forward guidance for the company. So Starbucks, SBUX, looks like it's going to be a bad day for that company tomorrow or tonight. Chart for Starbucks in a downtrend. So just by looking at the daily chart, I wouldn't be an owner in this company. And I'm just shocked that the market cap of this company is $100 billion, Starbucks. Why? I've never been to a Starbucks. I'll never go into a Starbucks. I don't drink coffee. That's why. That's why I said that. That's Starbucks. Amazon also released their results. Now, I'm a share of this company, but I have not had a look at the results. Share price down 3.3% yesterday. And after hours, it was up initially and now down. So the results actually looked okay based off the little detail I have seen, and little detail is just a few tweets. So the results looked okay, but I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper into Amazon. So that's Amazon. Another interesting one was AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. And I have a feeling this was just after hours trading. So share price down 1%. And looks like AMD might be down a fair bit today, down 8%. So maybe Starbucks, AMD, and another company in this list will be one of the reasons why we're going to have a down day in American markets. 3M. Actually, no, we'll talk about SMS or SMCI. The reason I had a look at this company is because there was a super microcomputer. There was an interesting tweet about this company and the relationship with NVIDIA. And if it's going to open, maybe it won't open. So I'll just open up the other two companies, Eli Lilly. Who's heard of Eli Lilly? Has a market cap of $700 billion. You should have heard of Eli Lilly. It's all about drugs, and it's in the news lately, alongside Novo Nordisk, which will be releasing their results tomorrow or on Thursday. And I do own Novo Nordisk. I don't own Eli Lilly, and I wish I do. And that'll become clear in a second. Maintenance. Oh, there you go. But Eli Lilly opened up. So let's go back to SMSCI, whatever it's called. Super microcomputer. And their after hours, looks like their results were pretty bad, down 3.5% overnight. And in after hours trading, down 13.3%. So I'll have a look at that company's results tonight. But in saying that, a few other companies might be up pretty well tonight. The first of those is 3M company, Triple M. I have no idea what chemicals, something like that. I have no idea what this company does. But their share price was up 4.7% yesterday, and in after hours trading, up 4.5%. So obviously this company's results were pretty good. So I should have a look at this company. So let's have a look at the chart for all these companies, by the way. So 3M. So 3M. What are they called? 3M company. Triple M, that's right, Triple M. Oh, this chart looks really good. This chart looks good. This chart looks really good. This is the daily chart. Okay, 3M. This chart looks really good. Okay. Oh, so glad I did this. Okay, this chart looks good. Downtrend. This is a well-defined downtrend for a long, long time. And you can see the sentiment starting to shift, and these results could be a breakout. This is exactly why I do this process. I'm going to buy 3M tonight. Maybe. If it opens up like that, maybe not. So really good chart for 3M. And what's those other companies? Amazon probably doesn't look as good. Oh no, Amazon looks fine. So even though I own this company, I don't look at the chart all that often. This is a long-term play for me. So Amazon looks fine. AMD. How does AMD look? So AMD, it looks a little bit more negative there. There was a nice little uptrend, but I think tonight might put this uptrend under threat. And what is it? SMCI. Oh, look at that run. So this chart has been looking good for a long time. Really big run up during the first few months of 2024. Share price went from 300 up to 1,200. So four bagger in a brief period of time. And I think this today, overnight, with the share price decreasing a fair bit, yeah, a fair bit of volatility. I would not even be thinking about this company. And the last company I want to show you in the honorable mentions is Eli Lilly, markup of $700 billion. Share price up 5.9% overnight, and in after hours trading, share price is up another 5.2%. So let's have a look at the chart for Eli Lilly. And I almost can guarantee you this chart looks absolutely stunning. They keep releasing really good news flow, and the chart looks pretty good. And if the chart or the share price gets above $800, that's an all-time high for Eli Lilly. So LLY, a potential buy as well for me. Maybe. I'll just think about it. Eli Lilly chart looks brilliant. Okay. So that's the honorable mentions. Now let's have a look at the top 5 announcements of the day, starting at number 5. In fact, the honorable mentions took a little bit longer than I was going to take. Coming at number 5, we have Pointerra, share price down 7.15%. Okay, so this is a company I do own another small portion of shares, so not a lot, and I'm just waiting for the company to show me signs that they have hit that inflection point. Possibly next quarter or the quarter after. Now, I did tweet about this last night because they released these results at 4:46 p.m., trying to sneak it in after the market is closed. Now, that's me being a little bit cynical. And of course, CommSec is going to take 5 years to open this announcement up, which is absolutely ridiculous. If I go to, where's my, if I go here, 3DP, I'm going to see if I can beat the announcement. So market index, there it is, almost instantly. And it still hasn't opened up in CommSec. Okay, so the main thing about this Appendix 4C, the first thing I really want to point out is the cash receipts. This is the first thing I always look at. 724,000, I saw that and went, what? That is the lowest quarterly cash receipts this company has received in over 3 years, since 2021. And operating cash flow negative by 1.6 million. So this alone would lead to a negative reaction from the market. Doesn't matter what they say in commentary. However, because I own a small portion of shares in this company, I'm not going to sell my shares in Pointerra. However, they did say some interesting things. And here are the interesting things. Okay, so third quarter receipts, yeah, fairly low, but over $1 million in receipts have already been received in this particular quarter. That's only during April. So we know, unless they're complete liars, that the quarter receipts in the current quarter will exceed and possibly significantly exceed this quarter's receipts, the March quarter receipts. Now, potentially, this is all the receipts they're going to receive in this particular quarter. So it won't be that more significantly higher. But operating cash flow negative 1.64 million. But they also mention it expected to materially improve to, and they bolded materially improve to cash flow positive during the fourth quarter, financial year 24, and into financial year 25. So there is some hope here for Pointerra shareholders. And just based off these 2 things, even if I was the sort of shareholder who is getting completely sick of management, which is understandable, I probably wouldn't sell my shares just because of those 2 things. And if we go even deeper to Section 8, because they don't have enough funding based off their cash burn in this quarter, they have 0.57 quarters of funding left. And if that number is less than, what is it, less than 2, they have to answer some questions in Section 8.6. And it's just questions about what are you going to do to make sure you have enough cash moving forward? And that's sort of what the questions are. And they just mentioned here what they said in the commentary, that during the month of April 2024, the company has collected 1 million in receipts. And they also mentioned here they did a placement raising over $1 million. And yeah, so have a look at that. So even though the market has reacted a little bit negative today, down 7%, I think there is potential, or there is a light at the end of the tunnel for Pointerra. Now, I would not be buying shares in this company, however, even though I think there is potential light at the end of the tunnel. And the main reason behind that is just the chart and the negative sentiment in this company. Don't even have to go to Hot Copper to know their shareholders are totally sick of management in this company. They hate management. And share price has been a downtrend for 2 years, 3 years almost. It's been a downtrend for 3 years. So negative sentiment. Now, the one maybe positive thing, share price looks like it has been going sideways since the start of December. So about 5 months where the share price is just going sideways. So there is potential the bottom has been reached. Potential. Now, if they disappoint in the next quarter, if what they have said is complete rubbish, then I think the share price will fall significantly from here. So you have to have trust in management that they are not lying. So that is coming in at number 4 or 5. We have Pointerra. I was going to have Restaurant Brands at number 5 and possibly another company there. No, it was between Pointerra and Restaurant Brands. I decided on Pointerra because I tweeted, and Restaurant Brands is just highly illiquidly traded. So coming in at number 4, we have another company I own, but this is a company that is doing much better than Pointerra. And recently I sold I took profits in DUG Technology. I did not completely sell out, and this was positive because I sold shares at $2.50, and share price is now $2.79. But I, on occasion, make the decision when I do take profits, I don't completely sell out. And it has worked pretty well for me. If you view that decision on the basis of the share price increasing, now you could argue, well, I should have maintained my whole position, but I don't mind taking profits and keeping a position in a company. It's not a small position because the share price had run up a fair bit from when I initially bought. Okay, so share price up 1.8%. And I'm happy it's up because the company did release a business update. And I actually did like this business update. Company's still moving in the right direction. I have no complaints about this particular update. I do have one complaint, and there is a reason I sold or took profits in this company, which I mentioned in my tweet. I did tweet about this company as well. So total revenue up 39%. EBITDA up 24% on the third quarter last year to 4.6 million. Operating cash flows, $6.4 million US dollars, by the way, an increase on the third quarter, a $1.5 million increase on the third quarter. Total cash at $15 million at the 31st of March 2024. Okay, that's wrong. Total cash held at 31st of March 2024 was $15 million with net cash of $5.4 million. And they talk about new services project. So a nice update from DUG Technology. So let's have a look at the chart. And I think I don't think I've included where I sold. Maybe I did. No, I didn't. So I bought some shares in this company at 83 cents. And this was initially just a technical signal. So let's go back to when I bought. So downtrend, moved into an uptrend, bought some shares. And then as I read more about this company, I went, this could be a longer term play. And then I sold shares here. So I bought in the middle of February last year, and I sold at the end of February at 250, start of March. So I sold 1 year after I bought just because of tax reasons. And the share price has increased from when I sold. But that's okay. A beautiful chart. This is the definition of a beautiful chart. No reason to even think about selling out of DUG Technology, completely selling out. I just decided to take profits and put that money to use in other ways, which I think is fine. I can do that. I've done that a lot. I bought more companies, and the money that I've used, the profits I've used, this is the way to look at it. So the share price in this company has gone up from 250 to 280. But the money I have used, the profits I've used, I've put to better use because some of that money has gone to companies whose share price have increased by more than 30 cents or by more than 10 cents or so. Yeah, that's the way to look at it. How did I use that money? How did I use those profits? And until you realize that maybe there was a better use and you've realized that better use, then you can say, yeah, this was a good decision. Does that all make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so that's Doug Technology coming in number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have AVZ Minerals. Okay, you'll notice no movement in the share price. If you have a look at the trade history in ComSec, there's no records found. Look at the chart. It's blank, no chart available. What's happening here? Well, AVZ Minerals, which did have a market cap of $2.75 billion. Yes, this company has a market cap of $2.75 billion, a lithium exploring company with projects in the DRC, or the Democratic Republic of Congo. They've had problems with that project because of the government and because of this Chinese, I think it's Chinese, trying to claim part of the project, or maybe they're trying to claim the whole project, or maybe they're trying to say they deserve some of the, I don't know. I haven't been following that closely. But the main thing this company came in number 3 is because of this announcement released 30th of April, so yesterday evening at 6:20 p.m. Update on ASX listing. Now, there is a rule, and this is a very important rule. A company can't be in suspension for more than 2 years. If it's been in suspension for more than 2 years, it's automatically delisted from or by the ASX. That's very important that managers of companies understand this. I'm pretty sure they would. And AVZ Minerals is getting to that 2-year time frame. So this means they will be delisted from the ASX. Yes, a $2.75 billion company will be delisted from the ASX. Now, that was markup via ComSec, and this is markup via TradingView, and they say 2.75 billion as well. So look, this is the chart for AVZ Minerals. Beautiful looking chart until, was it a day before they went into suspension? The day before they went into suspension, share price dropped almost 20%. Loose lips? I think so. You'd be very happy if you sold on that day. You would have been very happy if you sold almost $1.30 a few weeks before that. So they went to a suspension on the 5th of May. So that's just over 5th of May 2022. That's just under 2 years ago. And it is, yeah, they mentioned even that's ASX policy. So go through this statement or this announcement just to see and understand this thing can happen on the ASX. A company that is being suspended or has been suspended for 2 years will be delisted automatically. I think it's automatically by the ASX. They go through the reasons why they're not trading yet, talking about the Democratic Republic of Congo's failure to comply with the interim orders made by in the company's favor by the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. This is another reason why some people refuse to invest in Africa, because of this sort of risk, this sovereign risk or political, geopolitical risk. So that's AVZ coming in number 3 on the announcements of the day. So unfortunately, or hopefully, you are not a shareholder of this company. I'm pretty sure there would be some that might be viewing this channel, maybe some, because this was a bit of a market darling in the lithium area 2 years ago. Coming in number 2, a company I do own, Prophecy International. Share price up 9%. Oh, yes, I'm very happy with that. Okay. Potentially, this should have come in number 1. This was going to be the top announcement of the day, and I thought, I don't want to be biased. I own shares in this company, and it would seem a little bit biased. But based off their market reaction, yeah. So up 9% for the day. It's been a good reaction, yeah. And when I saw this, third quarter, financial year 24, business growth update, and I saw what it was, and I went, this is potentially an inflection point for this company. The reason I say that is there is a possibility or another world where I never bought shares in this company, because the way I am thinking about companies right now is a little bit different than when I bought shares in Prophecy. Now, Prophecy was not profitable, was not cash flow positive when I bought shares in this company, but I did like the potential. Now, it seems like they might have turned a corner based on some of the things they said in this update, business growth update, just the title, business growth. So things are improving. Contracted ARR up 20%, invoicing up 13%. But the third highlight is very important. Positive cash flow expected in financial year 2024. We also talk about some of the high-profile recent customer wins, including a Canadian airline, Kuwait Oil Company, Occidental and Petroleum, City of San Diego, and Airbnb. But another thing that got me a little bit excited was net cash. Okay, so this is sort of cash flow, sort of entwined in cash flow. So net cash of 11.3 million, up 1.4 million since the 31st of December 2023, as at 31st of March 2024. At 19th of April 2024, cash had increased a further 12.7 million. So $1.4 million in the first 19 days of April with zero debt. Okay, that's very important as well. Now, the markup of this company, I would assume now is about 55 million, 60 million, 62.6 million because the share price has risen today. So this company has an enterprise value of about $50 million. Now, this company and the chart looks pretty good. So this is the daily chart, and it has did break out a while ago. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this company in a video or two. So breakout middle of March. There was a little bit of dip. So it went from 94 cents down back to 78 cents. And now I think maybe the return to share price moving higher is in. I'd like to see the share price get to about $1 to maintain this positive momentum. Some good volume coming in. Consistent good volume coming in since the middle of March. So none of these spikes, but it's just been consistent good volume, particularly compared to what you're usually seen. You can just see that in the daily volume or the moving average volume going up over the past month and a bit. So a good announcement from Prophecy International, and I think potentially this company has hit an inflection point. It's been a long time coming. So this is the weekly chart for the company. There has been periods when this company was really liked by the market. And now, and I don't think the company, maybe back in 2015, the company was profitable. I've had to have a closer look, but maybe now is that period where this company has hit, I won't say the big time, but definitely it's moving in the right direction for Prophecy International. Okay, so that comes in at number 2. Top announcement of the day is Amcor. Share price up today, I'm assuming, yep, up 4%. We'll have a look at the chart in a second. Now, the reason this comes in at number 1 instead of number 2 or number 3 is because I don't own shares in this company. That's the only reason, and I wanted to be unbiased. So they released their third quarter results. Now, I had a look at it and went, okay. For those who don't know, this is a packaging company. I'm pretty sure Amcor spun out Aurora, and I think Aurora is packaging in Australia and Amcor is packaging elsewhere. So global leader in developing and producing responsible packaging solutions for food, beverage, pharmaceutical, medical, and personal care. Now, it seems like they do report in American. So this is American listed on New York Stock Exchange, AMCR. So that's why we have this particular form. It's a little bit different. It's the American form. Okay, so the main thing here is, did these results beat expectations? Because you'd want to beat expectations because these numbers were, I won't say awful, but I looked at it and went, everything's down. Everything is negative. Is there sort of there's no, here we go. Is that it? Here's the news release. Okay. So sales of 10.1 billion, but there's no, here we go. So GAAP diluted earnings per share of 12.9 cents. Adjusted EBIT up 3%. Adjusted earnings per share up 1%. So not much growth at all. In fact, if you look at the numbers compared to previous numbers or last year's numbers, quite a few of those numbers were down. So obviously these results beat expectations, but just based off the market reaction. Here we go. So adjusted non-GAAP results. Sales down 8%. EBITDA down 4%. EBIT down 6%. Net income down 12%. Earnings per share down 9%. So that's adjusted non-GAAP results. Don't ask me about the difference between GAAP results and non-GAAP. But even GAAP results, net sales down. Net income attributable to Amcor down. Earnings per share down. But then they said they were up here. Adjusted. Oh, that's adjusted. Okay. Okay, so yeah. And they're going through different areas. Should have a closer look at this. I went straight to the financial statements, and they are a little bit different than the Australian financial statements. Oh, there is a presentation. I did not see this. Oh, there you go. I completely missed this presentation. So, it's a lot of negative numbers here, but it's not whether the results on the surface look or are bad. So you might see a lot of negative numbers, but that's not what drives the share price performance. It's whether the numbers beat expectations and whether the company has put any sort of guidance here. And here is the reason. This could be the reason why the share price has rallied today. Fiscal 2024 adjusted earnings per share guidance raised. This could be a profit upgrade. That's the reason why the share price has rallied. There we go. So I'm glad we got to reason why the share price of Amcor has rallied. Went there in a circular way, discovered that they have a presentation, and now it becomes more clear. So I thought maybe the results were better than expectation. This was a profit upgrade from Amcor, or they did release a profit upgrade. That's why the share price has rallied 4% today. Now let's have a look at the chart for Amcor. So we have Amcor. There it is, down the bottom. There's also AMC. No. Okay. So one of the reasons I go through this process is I'm looking for breakouts, like I found with 3M or Triple M, whatever it's called. Lilly looks really good as well. So I might take positions in those two companies, but this is not a breakout. So the share price up 4%, but yeah, not a breakout. Share price is still in a downtrend. But maybe this is the end of the downtrend. Maybe the share price now will go sideways. And if I see a rally in the share price over the next few days, and I'll need to see the share price get above about $14.66, because then I might think about taking a position in this company. So definitely one maybe to put on your radar, but the chart doesn't look as healthy as what I would like for a breakout. Okay, so I have taken profits today in two companies. First one was Hub24. I've been looking to sell this company for a while, just based off the 1 hour chart. It was in a beautiful uptrend, Hub24. Beautiful uptrend for a long time from when I bought or just after I bought. And that uptrend really came under pressure middle of April, fell below my sell point back on the 19th of April, but then rallied and now is just lingering at these levels. And I thought I'd just take profits today at $39.50. Share price now $39.17. And I think if we do have another big down day on the American markets, this share price of this company will fall below $38. And the other company I sold out today was not completely. I maintained 1/3 position in step one, clothing, but this is just based off this chart. So I said, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that if the share price fell below $1.60, I would sell, and it did it yesterday. And the reason I sold on open this morning at $1.55 simply was because of what happened yesterday. And I thought I'm going to sell because yesterday we had an okay day on the markets, but there was a little bit of pressure on step one clothing. And I just didn't like the chart here. And it just made my decision fairly easy. Share price has collapsed since then. So this was a decision. Really high volume coming through today. So always pay attention to the volume. Look at the volume. So when it broke down this morning, in the first 1 hour, that was a sign to get out, really. So a lot of selling happening in the first few hours of trading today. So maintain my third position in this company, and I'll put the profit I've made in this company to possibly better use. At this point in time, it's just cash because uncertainty in the markets. Now, what I'm going to do in the next hour or two is I'll go through, within the next hour, is I'll start going through all the other companies I have in my trading portfolio just to see if any other company's chart is under pressure. So Hub24 was the most likely I was going to sell out today. And let's have a quick look at some of the other companies. Very quick look at my short-term portfolio. So for instance, I took a position in Mayfield Group, and it is now up over 10% from when I bought. I bought some shares in Megaport yesterday when the share price had fallen. That is down a little bit. What else is here? Metarock looks really good. Looks really good. That trade's going really up 14% today. 360. What's happening with 360? Up 2.6%. So the hourly chart looks good. So I'm going to have to look at other. So I really want to sell a service stream, but no reason yet. Side out of Hub, get rid of that. Reviewer. So maybe Cobram. Well, it's got close, but then we have seen a little bit of buying in the last hour. And email payments. That could be the next one I could be thinking about selling out of my trading position. Email payments. Okay, so that's all I got for today's video. Time is now 4:07 p.m. The market is closed, or it's in the closing auction, or as market index calls it, in the match. And looks like from when I started this video, the market is down a little bit. Now the odds down 1.15%, and the XGO down 1.1%. So if you have any thoughts, any questions, just leave in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.